And in today's episode, or both as broadside segment, I would like to have a word with the NBA Coaches Association, and all 29 of you should be ashamed of yourselves. Well, the ones that did not vote for Nick Nurse should be ashamed of themselves. So the NBA Coaches Association released their Coach of the Year award. Now, for those who don't know, this is not the official NBA Coach of the Year award as voted on by the media, aka the Red Auerbach Trophy. This is voted on by the NBA Coaches Association. And in most years, the same coach wins both. And I think it's pretty common knowledge that the Raptors' Nick Nurse, who, after winning a championship, loses his franchise player, has the Raptors playing at a better record this year than he did last year with Kawhi Leonard. And let me also point out that the Raptors have been destroyed with injuries this year. Gasol, Fred, Siakam, Kyle, Serge that missed a few games here. And these aren't just nobody players that missed time. These are their top of the rotation guys that have missed time. So just on that basis alone, to have a better record after losing your best player and having all of your players suffer injury time, a significant injury time, it's quite impressive. Okay, so many coaches or many people may say, well, okay, that's definitely a factor, but they're playing in the weak Eastern Conference. Okay, they're playing in the weak Eastern Conference. But they're still effectively beating up and abusing some of the elite teams in the league. Just ask Anthony Davis what happened and ask him how he dealt with that Raptor defense on Saturday night. Ask LeBron James how the guy who used to beat down Toronto year in, year out in the playoffs, and which led to the whole LeBronto hashtag on social media. He cannot get anything going against these guys. Damian Lillard could not get anything going against these guys. Steph Curry last year in the finals, and even this year, his first game back, could not get much going against these guys. This man, Nick Nurse, is able to draw up defensive schemes that is able to neutralize the other team's top stars and forces the supporting cast to beat them. And very, very rarely do they actually beat them. Let hear a few other points I would like to bring up. Nick Nurse, in a game in December, started running excessive trap defense on James Harden and managed to neutralize him that game. And guess what happened? Every other coach in the league started copying the defense on James Harden. And now they started double teaming him and picking him up full court and trapping him and getting the ball out of his hands, which was probably one of the factors that led to Houston's small ball double down. Their double down on small ball. They got rid of their bigs and got more ball handlers playing at all times, partly because of this defense. Other stats I would like to point out. They lead the league in contested three-point attempts. So whenever an opponent is trying to shoot a three, they lead the league in getting a hand in the face. For those who may not be big basketball fans, they force bad players to take away threes. They're amongst the league leaders in fewest pull-up threes allowed. They are able to double team star players and manage to also defend against the obvious outlet passes that star player will make against double teams, creating chaos and disruption in another team's offense. They lead the league in 3 points attempted against late in the shot clock, 7 seconds or less. You remember Mike D'Antoni, 7 seconds or less offense? Back in 2005, well, this is Nick Nurse's 7 seconds or less defense, forcing other teams late in the shot clock to put up 3-point attempts, meaning that he created enough disruption and enough issues with the other team's timing, and they're running down the shot clock and taking time off that clock. This is what this Raptor defense does, and this is what other coaches are stealing from him now. And they went and did not vote him unanimously Coach of the Year. It's a shame. They should all be ashamed of themselves. And I personally believe that he's embarrassing them, and their big egos are not allowing themselves, their egos are not allowing them to vote for Nurse. You cannot make an argument in this case. This should have been a unanimous victory. You can't make an argument for anybody else. And that's the ranch. Any follow-up, boys?
No, I completely agree. When I heard about this, first I wasn't even sure. I thought it was the actual Coach of the Year award, the NBA Coach of the Year award, but I was pretty shocked. I mean, the Bucks have had a great season. I don't know how much of that has to do with Bud. I've had a few Budenholzer. I've had a few, debates with some friends about whether he actually deserves it or not. I mean, I guess there is an argument just considering that they have the best record. How much of that is because of Giannis? It's tough to say. He won it last year. They're giving it to him again this year. I just hope that Nurse actually gets the NBA Coach of the Year award, because I'll be very upset if Nick Nurse doesn't get some kind of recognition for the job that he's done this year with, like you mentioned, just all the injuries and without Kawhi to still be where they're at, and for all the innovation too. Nurse deserves something.
Another point is on Colin Cowherd's show a couple of days ago. He stated that he talks to a lot of NBA insiders, and he has a lot of sources from within the league, and they all tell him that the Raptors are the best in the league at having a good game plan and making in-game adjustments. That's the coach. So this isn't sitting well with me.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Azam, you have anything to add?
I'd say I'm not surprised. I mean, there are a few good candidates, and yeah, I mean, I would have liked to see Nurse lead, but what surprised me more was the number of people who got votes. Like, there were far too many, and some of them I don't even understand how they even ended up, even if it's one vote, unless you're voting for themselves.
Yeah, like it was 8 coaches total that got votes.
It's just ridiculous, right?
Yeah, it's a crazy number. I'm assuming, I don't know how the voting works, but maybe some of them did vote for themselves. I'm not entirely sure, but it was just funny to see that many people got votes in this whole thing.
Voting for your friends could be a thing. Who knows how? There are biases. I mean, you might vote against a coach in your conference who you play much more often.
And that could be it, right? If you're not allowed to vote for yourself, maybe Casey goes to Carlisle and says, "Hey, Carlisle, vote for me. I'll vote for you. We're not giving that vote to Nick Nurse."
Yes. Now for our listeners, this is just pure speculation on our part. It's well known that Rick Carlisle, coach of the Dallas Mavericks, is head of the NBA Coaches Association. NBA Coaches Association. And he is good friends with former Raptor coach Dwayne Casey, who was fired 2 years ago and replaced by his lead assistant, Nick Nurse.
After winning this very award, too.
Yes. And there were rumblings that the two near the end did not get along and that there were issues between them. And it could be, this is just speculation. We are not insiders.
Well, they had a difference of opinion on suits?
Yeah. Well, the suits are a big part of it. He's jealous of Nurse's style. But also, maybe Dwayne feels as if Nurse violated the coach's code, a.k.a. don't go after your boss's job. I don't know if there's any truth to that. This is just my own speculation. Maybe the old boys club wanted to shun him for being too innovative and breaking unwritten rules by beating opponents using high school zone defenses. Who knows?
Yeah. So I don't want to spend too much time on this. Let's see what happens. Hopefully there's something for Nurse when the results are announced for the NBA Coach of the Year award. I think he really does deserve it. But thanks for that, Pram.